Welcome back to another episode of the Jacob Johnston Show. So as you know, there's a lot of hype being built up around the government's release on unidentified aerial phenomenons, or UFOs for the layman. There's been videos that have been released from the Pentagon. There have been pictures, and everyone is speculating, are there actually aliens among us? We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, speaking of aliens, Prince Harry has gone through and, well, he has created a bit of a controversy in a recent interview. Take a look.
I got so much I want to say about the First Amendment. I still don't understand it, but it is bonkers. I don't want to start sort of going down the First Amendment route because that's a huge subject and one of which I don't understand because I've only been here for a short period of time. But you can find a loophole in anything, and you can capitalize or exploit what's not said rather than uphold what is said.
Now, there's a lot that we can unpack there about what Prince Harry had to say, but in the end, none of it matters. I mean, yes, you could talk about how the left always talks about exploiting what is not written in the Constitution rather than following what is written in order to get wiggle rooms and violate it. But when it all comes down to it, who gives a rip what Prince Harry has to say? Seriously, we haven't had to give a rip what the royal family has had to say about our rights and freedoms here in the United States since about 1776. So you can take your thoughts and your opinions, Prince Harry, and shove them up where the sun don't shine. Okay, now getting back to UFOs. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what the government report is going to say. After all, take a look at some of the information that has been released. They have recovered materials or parts of a spaceship not made of this earth, or a vehicle not made of this earth. What the heck is that supposed to mean? I mean, there's a lot of wiggle room as far as not made of this earth. I mean, it could have been constructed in outer space. Who knows what it is that is supposed to be meant by that? And then we see the videos and we see the pictures that have been released by the Pentagon, and it's leading a lot of people to speculate, hey, is all the speculation about what happened in, with Area 51 and Roswell, New Mexico, could that be true? I mean, they are building up a lot of hype about this, and I'm afraid a lot of us are going to be disappointed. And what's interesting is you have people on both sides of the political aisle actually talking about this. Whether it's Tucker Carlson on Fox News going off and talking about it, although I think he's just kind of making a joke out of it as he goes through and talks about it, but he's at least pretending to keep an open mind about the ideas of UFOs and aliens. And then, of course, there is CNN, which I think CNN kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not going to really knock their point of view, but I'll let you go ahead and take a look for yourself.
As if Congress doesn't have enough on its plate, not that it's doing anything with what is on its plate, they're now looking into UFOs, or at least they're doing something, right? Next month, Congress is expecting a report from the Director of National Intelligence and other agencies on UFOs, or UAPs. Now, that's the government term for them. It stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. Why? Well, a retired U.S. Navy pilot came forward to say he and his crew witnessed an unidentified flying object on the coast of the Atlantic several times. And he's not the only one.
Now, let me go ahead and say something here that I never thought I would say about CNN or Chris Cuomo. And I'm having a hard time even bringing myself to say this. But if the report next month, or what is it, July actually, comes out regarding these UFOs, UAPs, and they have nothing to do with aliens or extraterrestrials, then I'm going to say that CNN and Chris Cuomo's reaction to all of this hubbub about unidentified aerial phenomenons, I would be in agreement with. Really, are we going to waste our time on this if it's not aliens? Isn't there something more important for Congress to be looking at and doing? I mean, I just have the feeling that we're all going to be disappointed that it's going to have nothing to do with aliens whatsoever. However, let's take a look at the flip side here. We got some people who believe that, yes, we're about to be told that aliens have been visiting this planet since at least Roswell. But other people are like, well, they've been prepping us for this for a long time. Remember the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, where they go off and say ancient astronauts, visitors from another world, because of their technological advancements, were mistaken for gods and great magicians and whatever, and influence human development. But then it comes across the question, well, if they interfered with our ancestors so many thousands of years ago, why are they hiding from us now? Why was it that they felt more comfortable and felt like we were more ready back then to interact with us, and that we are not ready to just have direct conversations with now? After all, being more evolved, we'll have a better idea and a better understanding of what they are and could more easily interact with them. So there's one thing, hey, we've been visited for a long time. A lot of the ancient gods were aliens, and they're just, maybe they, the distance that they have to travel is so vast, so far that by the time they get back to us, so many years have passed that they're trying to understand our development. Or maybe, as some people are suggesting with ancient aliens on the History Channel, these are more like archaeologists, where they're not interfering with us because they just want to study our development. Much like how our archaeologists like to try and study the development of less developed cultures, or cultures that have gone extinct. Who knows? And hey, maybe they're not aliens at all. Maybe they're time travelers. Hey, you ever think about that? These unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, are just time travelers. Our descendants who sent their time traveling archaeologists over to, take a look at history. Oh boy, I could have a whole lot of fun here talking about all the UFOs and UAPs. But we want to go through and figure out exactly how long has this been happening and why are they starting to release the information now? Well, Obama has come out, not exactly a source that I cite very often, of course, but Obama has come out and said, yes, these UAPs are real, UFOs are real. But he doesn't say that they're aliens, he just says we have no idea what they are. So when we get into all the theories here, some of the theories have been advanced technology, that the U.S. has been, experimenting with advanced technology. But if that was the case, we would, one, know what they are, and we wouldn't need a government report and investigation into that. Two, if it was about highly advanced technology, the government would not be disclosing that to the world. They would be keeping it as an advantage, right? As an advantage. Now, if it's advanced technology not made by the United States, okay, that creates a different issue here. One, it's from another country, in which case there's a country out there with more advanced technology than us doing things that we don't even think is possible at this time, in which case that is bad news for us. The second scenario is, yes, they are aliens, and in which case it could be bad for the entire world, depending on if they're hostile or not hostile. But Obama has come out and confirmed that, yes, these are real. Of course, I'd like to know what the level of information Trump has on this, and how far and extensive the records go back. Does it go all the way back to Roswell? Is that where they recovered materials of a vehicle not made of this earth? Who knows? But how long has this contact been happening, and why are they now finally confirming UAPs, UFOs, whatever term you want to use for it? Well, I think it's because of our level of technological development. You got a lot of people carrying cameras in their pockets. A lot of people that are able to just quickly snap a photo, capture video, and due to our level of technology, everyone's being able to go through and capture, UAPs and, put them on the internet for mass disclosure. Okay. So maybe the ability to hide, cover up, and keep the information from getting out is getting harder and harder to do. And so now they're slowly releasing it because they would rather have a controlled release rather than everybody panicking because of the one person who will finally get the indisputable evidence. Of course, they could have just gone off and said all these people with their cell phone cameras is edited videos, video editing software and all of that. But there is another issue here, something that I heard discussed on another show that I thought was interesting. And I'll give a hat tip here to Dan Bongino, where, he was talking about how someone had contacted him and said, hey, this could just be radar spoofing. So it may not actually be advanced technology from an alien civilization or even from ourselves, but rather, technology just designed to be able to spoof, fool, and trick radars. Okay, that is one thing, and that definitely does have merit. And let's face it, we don't exactly get the best quality pictures and videos of these unidentified aerial phenomena. It's one of those interesting things where the videos that they release are grainy, black and white. There's not a whole lot of background to it. So, that maybe just, if it is radar spoofing, it's designed to be in an area where it makes it easy to spoof because there isn't a lot of background to have to deal with, like just in the open skies or just over the ocean for the most part. Okay, I get that. But when we look at these videos, grainy, black and white, and we realize that we can get better quality video off of the camera of our cell phones, it starts leading some credibility to the idea that this is just radar spoofing. I mean, go ahead, take a look for yourself over the quality of the videos that we get released.
Gets a lot of white water out there, so 6 foot swells. Whoa, it's getting close. Yeah, we have 31 knots sustained with top side, gust 40.
Whoa, splashed. Mark bearing and range.
Now you notice that is not exactly the best quality video. Black and white is grainy. You can't really see a whole lot and definitive. And then when it goes into the water, well, there isn't really much of a splash profile. So it's easy to believe that this may be some type of spoofing technology designed to fool radars, lidars, sensors, and all of that than it is to believe in advanced technology where another country has managed to be able to build something that we don't think can actually exist, or that we don't think, or just, I guess, defies, everything that we know about physics and aerodynamics. All right. And it doesn't really seem like an alien spaceship, because even with an alien spaceship, just through mass displacement, just dropping into the ocean as fast as it did, you would think would create a bigger splash. Now, some people will come out here and go, well, I mean, the video is not that great a quality. Are you really going to pick up that much of a splash on that low quality of a video? And hey, you know what? They got a point there. I can completely agree that the video quality is not that great, and we have to wonder why the video quality is not that great. But all in all, when it comes down to it, if this is our advanced technology, our top secret technology and all of that, the government would not be releasing it, acknowledging it, or developing an entire report to deliver to Congress publicly. They wouldn't want anybody to know about it. So we can at least, for the most part, assume that this is not our technology, which then again just leads to radar spoofing possibilities, another country's advanced technology, in which case we're screwed, or actual alien life forms, or, alien probes, that doesn't have to actually be manned ships. But all those people out there that are getting all excited and hyped up about this, I have a feeling you're going to be very disappointed in the end, because you're trusting the government to actually be honest with us. So even if when we get down to it, let's say this is alien technology, alien spaceships, do you think the government is really going to go through and be honest with us, provide an honest report? I mean, take a look at all the dishonesty in government reports. Take a look at Mueller's report. That was a bunch of fabricated partisan bullcrap, where large chunks of that report have been debunked, have been discredited, have found out that they were altering the evidence in order to get it to fit a report with a predetermined result, rather than to explain what actually happened. And then we take a look at how the government goes off and characterizes January 6th, trying to say it's an insurrection, a mob, and all of that, when video that has been released shows that no, actually, they were invited in by the Capitol Police, so they didn't think that they were doing anything wrong, because they were invited in, and they were told it was part of their First Amendment right to peacefully assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. So we know that the honesty, the credibility of the government being honest with the public when they can spin a political narrative is highly questionable. So even if there is truth to aliens, spaceships, and all of that, I just do not have any trust in our government in any way, shape, or form to actually be honest with us and release that information. Instead, they may be going ahead and, this is just my theory, this is just my opinion, and we'll figure out what happens, but I think it is that, due to cell phones, cameras, technologies, the ability to capture all of this, their ability to keep it covered up is getting harder and harder. And so what they are now doing is pre-wiring for us. They're getting us all hyped up, aliens, releasing these videos, photos, and talking about the reports and all of that. And then they're going to come out and they're going to provide an explanation, some type of reasonable explanation that has nothing to do with aliens, spaceships, or anything whatsoever. Or they're not really going to provide us anything definitive, but just tell us, well, we may not know exactly what it is, but here's our most likely thoughts. And anybody who is going off on the aliens, the government is going to just, go off and disclose aliens to us, is going to be highly disappointed, even if they really are aliens. Getting the pre-wired narrative ready in order to, build up a lot of hype and then give us a misdirection. Nothing to do with aliens. I just have no faith in government whatsoever to tell us the truth if there actually were aliens. Okay, so that's it for this particular video. Hey, as I had mentioned, when it comes to videos, I'm doing shorter, more narrowly focused topics, right? And that's because video is much harder than doing the audio podcast. If you want to get the full show, where on today's episode, I will be talking about more of the bombshell, more of the drama that is coming out of Maricopa County and its forensic audit of the election. Go ahead and subscribe to the audio version of the podcast, the Jacob Johnston Show. I provide the copy of the podcast art right here, so it's easy to find. I'm in pretty much every podcast directory. All right, and you can also look in the links in the description below to subscribe directly to the RSS feed. Connect with me on MeWe, Parler, Gab, and Minds. You can try on Facebook and Twitter. I'd be surprised if you can find me there with all of the censorship. And you can also find a link to my channel over on Rumble if you prefer things like free speech. All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the likes, leave me comments, and I will be back again soon.